While senators will get back to work on Monday, the Republican-controlled House is closed for Christmas. You know, before the House members left for the holidays, they passed an $886 billion defense bill. Now, this is one of the largest pieces of legislation that gets passed in the House every year, funding the military. President Biden is expected to sign the bill. GOP Congressman from Maryland, Andy Harris, voted against that legislation, though, and he joins us now for more on this. Thanks for being with us this morning, Congressman Harris. Good to see you again. So let's start with the defense bill. You had concerns about what's in it and concerns about what the military has been up to. So lay out, why did you vote against this?
Well, there were two reasons, Tom. First of all, it was combined with the Foreign Intelligence Security Act, Surveillance Act, or FISA, which is what the FBI used to spy on over 270,000 Americans. It was improper to combine it with the National Defense Authorization Act. In fact, the Senate parliamentarian said it was non-germane to the bill, but the senators overrode the parliamentarian's opinion. It's time to just separate bills that have nothing to do with each other and take them up separately. But in that National Defense Authorization Act, it still included money for transgender surgery and medical therapy. It included money. It did not ban drag queen shows on military bases. I mean, again, that's not a serious bill. If you think that's your priority and not defeating Russia, China, Iran, and Korea, then, you know, again, we're going to have a difference of opinion.
We had hundreds of military promotions held up in the Senate because of Senator Tommy Tuberville's objection to a policy reimbursing military members who, you know, traveled out of state where they were deployed to get abortions. Now, you brought up this concern about the transgender care. There was a time when, you know, military veterans receive some of the best care in the country. Do they not deserve, if this is the policy of the Pentagon, to be able to receive that medical care?
It wasn't for veterans. It was for active duty military. You know, the idea of bringing someone into the military who you believe is going to require extensive surgery, time off from work. I mean, again, when I was a military physician, I mean, we you know, if people had relatively minor illnesses, they were not allowed, chronic illnesses, they were not allowed to go in the military because they wouldn't be deployable at all times. The bottom line is this is just a woke military. I guarantee you, Tom, Russia, China, Iran, and Korea are not doing transgender surgery on their soldiers.
Let's move on to the state of the government right now, because it's operating right now this morning, in large part because of a solution you came up with to keep this government operating, this laddered step of the continuing resolution to fund the government through February. It kept the government open. Your idea worked. But how likely is it in February that we're going to be right back to where we were, that you had to come up with this idea?
Well, of course, the first step comes due on January 19th. I think, again, because Chuck Schumer is not going to abide by the Fiscal Responsibility Act levels and limits, and we're not negotiating bills yet. I think we're going to have a continuing resolution on those 4 bills to the end of the year, and then maybe Chuck Schumer gets serious about negotiating at the Fiscal Responsibility Act levels. Again, I don't understand. He wants to spend about $80 billion more than those levels. I think that the time has come when we have to tighten our belts. We have to curb inflation, and one of the ways to do that is to control federal government spending.
There's been a lot of conversation amongst people who are outside of the conservative House caucus about whether or not Speaker Mike Johnson is in any kind of peril for his job because of these things that he has had to do to keep the government open. Let's take it away from the people on the outside. You're on the inside. You're one of these folks in the conservative caucus. Is he in any trouble over this?
No, not at all. The bottom line is, look, he's still getting his feet wet. He's still figuring out, you know, all the machinations that occur. So I think people, again, on the conservative side, I think they're willing to give him slack and to let him figure out how to get this all going. But we know his heart's in the right place, so we're still 100% behind him.
I want to talk about something we just discussed with Shannon Bream. It's coming up at 9 a.m. on Fox News Sunday. This aid to Israel and Ukraine, the Ukrainian president coming here to Washington this past week. Obviously, the Biden administration wants this Israel aid package as well, too. What is the holdup on the Republican side about the Ukrainian aid?
Well, first of all, let's dispense with the Israeli aid. The Israeli aid passed out of the House, $14.5 billion, paid for by hiring fewer IRS agents. The bottom line is that's a good deal. With regard to Ukraine, there are a lot of people who think we should be defending our border before we defend Ukraine's border. I think that's right. I think we have to stop this flow of 10 to 15,000 illegal immigrants a day. On peak days, it's 10,000 a day. Tom, we can't have that. And again, look, if the president thinks that it's more important to keep our borders open than to provide military aid to Ukraine, that's his decision.
It looks like those are going to be linked, and the numbers that are coming over the border right now clearly are unsustainable. If you are able to see some kind of package that will boost security at the border, would that then free up the ability to get that aid on its way?
It has to do more than just boost security at the border. It has to bring down the illegal crossings to Trump-era levels. I mean, the bottom line is and just passing laws isn't going to do good enough because we know this administration doesn't follow the law. So you have to have metrics in it. And the other thing I think we're going to require is that it be paid for somehow, that we set priorities in the government and we pay for it, just like we did with the Israeli aid.
Maryland Congressman Andy Harris, always a pleasure to talk to you. We wish you a happy holiday. Thanks for joining us.